Hi, welcome to 5 Minutes of Torah with BI Rabbi. This is Rabbi Adam Stein. If I haven't seen you around the shul in a while, you might not recognize me without the big beard and big hair, but I'd love to see you here on a Shabbat or our weekday minyan, mornings and evenings. Always great to see people at the shul. There were a lot of people in our synagogue last night for the King David Gala in our ballroom. It was really wonderful. And now, of course, you can hear and not really see, but that's all the sound from recess at VTT next door. Lots of great things going on here on Oak Street at BI and next door. Anyway, I want to tell you about something that I came across in the Torah portion, Parashat Emor. It is verse 5 and a couple more verses of chapter 24. We're in the book of Leviticus or Vayikra. It says that you should take choice flour, or semolina flour, you might translate, and bake it into 12 loaves, and with 2/10 of a measure in each loaf of the flour. But then you place them on a table, a pure table, silver table, in 2 rows, 6 to a row. It goes on to describe these rows of 12 breads. They're often called the display breads or the show breads. And it's interesting. First of all, I found some fascinating commentaries and stories connected to this. One of them is that soon after, a fight breaks out in the camp. And so that's just in verse 10, a few verses later. And one idea that our commentaries bring out is that the fight started because someone sneered at this law about the bread and said, why should week-old bread be on the table before God when kings enjoy fresh bread from the oven? Because we're told these breads are put out each Shabbat, and then they stay there in the temple or in the tabernacle throughout the week. And this guy in the camp says, why should God have week-old bread? Why should God have the week-old bread that you pay half price for in the bakery? Kings get fresh bread. Personally, I love fresh bread straight from the oven. And so maybe it's a good point. But another thing, by the way, is that these breads were not just in the tabernacle and the temple. Even in the early career of King David, David is fleeing from Saul, and David and his men arrive at the sanctuary of Nob, a sanctuary that was in an outer place, not in Jerusalem. And they were given some of the bread of display to eat, because usually only priests can eat of these consecrated loaves. And so the priest at Nob had to check to make sure that David's fighting men were pure before they could enter and eat that bread of display. Well, the last thing I want to tell you about this is actually thinking of these stale breads, these stale loaves. The Talmud in Tractate Menachot, the Babylonian Talmud, says that a miracle was performed in the tent of meeting. And when you had these loaves that were sitting there for a whole week, the miracle was that those loaves never grew stale. And so Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch, a great modern rabbi and commentator, I say modern, but maybe in the past 100 years or so in Germany, he said that these words weren't meant to be taken literally, that they never grew stale. It conveys the idea that the sanctuary was immune to the process of boredom and habit that afflict many religious institutions. Rituals did not grow stale or obsolete there. And I think that's a great lesson for us, running a synagogue or a school next door with all that great laughter you can hear from the kids. Here we are running institutions that have made it through the past 2 years of COVID and all sorts of other things. And we have great programs going on, services like our daily minyan I mentioned before, Shabbat, and Shabbat with a Difference, our amazing musical Shabbat with a dinner that comes up 3 or 4 times each summer. The first one is coming up soon, May 27th, and it'll be a wonderful Shabbat. When the weather's good, we have it outside, or we'll have the schmoozing outside beforehand, the snack and yak. This is with the band called Sulam, with such wonderful singing and musicians, and Debbie Fenton, our Balat Tfilah, sings with them, as does our member Rabbi Laura Duhan Kaplan. And there'll be a great dinner afterwards. So please sign up for that. Looking forward to seeing you there, and all throughout the week and the month. Shabbat Shalom.